This is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and I've got your early rankings for the top 25 wide receivers for PPR. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also hit the like button while you're at it. And if you also would like to follow us, make sure you check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for any of the latest news that we've got going on. Now, we are going to obviously pop out some more videos for you guys. Again, tight end edition. We're going to do some mock drafts. And of course, we're going to do even more updated rankings when the season gets a little bit closer. So with that said, I actually want to kind of jump right into the wide receivers that I believe are going to be the top 25 as of right now. Okay? So the first guy I've got for you is Davante Adams. All right? And I have no asterisk with this. Okay? I understand there's obviously a lot going on with Aaron Rodgers. And I get that can possibly affect him. But right now, Davante Adams is the number one wide receiver, I think, with fantasy. He was number one last year. He gets a lot of red zone targets. He's really the guy for Green Bay, and I don't see that changing at all. Again, even if Aaron Rodgers is gone, which I don't see happening, I still see him as a very viable and, of course, number one target for Jordan Love. All right? Now, the next guy I have, and this is where I think I might start getting some backlash from some of you guys, and, of course, comment down below. Let me know how you feel or if you think there should be some changes in this. Again, this is a very, very evolving ranking, right? This is where I believe they are right now, and things can change, obviously, with camp starting. Next guy I have is actually going to be Stephon Diggs at the number 2 spot. Stephon Diggs did an amazing job when his first year with Buffalo. He actually ended up being third last year, okay? And the reason I have him as second is I believe look, Josh Allen's going to grow and continue to grow. And then you add Emmanuel Sanders out there, and you still have Cole Beasley as the other receiver. That receiving core is amazing right now, and that just only helps Stephon Diggs continuously be wide open for some plays. So I like him a lot. I do have Tyreek Hill at the 3rd spot. Tyreek Hill actually was second last year. Look, it's not that I don't think Tyreek Hill is not a top-tier receiver, and he is. I just think the reason why I put him at number 3 instead of number 2 again is I just believe their weapons are still growing and getting better in Kansas City, and I just see a little bit of production dropping a little bit. Again, a very, very small amount. Look, last year he had an amazing amount of touchdowns that helped him escalate to that number 2 spot. He had 15 touchdowns. 17 total if you add his rushing. That's not a very, very common thing, and I don't see that happening a lot. I see him more around the 10, 11 range, which again would drop him down some. So again, that's where I have Tyreek right now. Number 4, I have Calvin Ridley. Now, I get Julio Jones is not going to be there. We get he's moved on. He is now in Tennessee. And I know that will put a lot of light onto Calvin Ridley. But look, last year, Calvin Ridley did amazing even without Julio on the field. Let's be honest, Julio wasn't on the field a lot last year. Calvin Ridley finished 5th last year in fantasy. Okay? And the fact that you added a nice tight end at the, I would say receiver position. I mean, the guy's a receiver, let's be real, okay? So you had a great tight end weapon. Russell Gage still did really good last year, and he's going to improve. I still like Matt Ryan at the quarterback position. Calvin Ridley's a stud. Okay, and I think he earned that number 1 spot. It's not that Julio lost it. I just think they both were number 1s, and unfortunately, Julio got the short end of the stick. Okay, so I have Calvin Ridley at number 4. Number 5, I got DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins is a beast. He was number 4 last year when it came to his performance. I still think he's around that spot, but I put him at number 5 just because I have Calvin just slightly above him with maybe a touchdown or 2 being really the big target. DeAndre Hopkins is a beast. He still has great rapport with Kyle Murray. It's only going to get better with Kyle Murray back there, okay? So I like DeAndre Hopkins, number 5. I've got number 6. This is going to be a big one, Justin Jefferson. He was number 6 last year. He was one that really kind of came out of nowhere, and a lot of people were like, where did this kid come from? But the Vikings did an amazing job drafting him, and he showed up really well. I had him in fantasy last year, and I'm glad I pulled the trigger on him because I just felt really strong about him, and a lot of people just kind of slept on him. And he proved time and time again how he was the number 1 receiver, not Adam Thielen, okay? So I have Justin Jefferson, number 6. Number 7, I got Michael Thomas. Look, Michael Thomas was banged up last year, and I know he affected a lot of you guys, obviously being drafted very, very high, especially in the first round, right? And obviously it's going to drop him some, especially the fact that Drew Brees is gone. And now you're looking at Jameis Winston. But one thing that I will give credit to Jameis Winston is he's a great deep ball passer, and I think that might help Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is a great short and medium route runner, probably one of the best in the league, and very consistent at catching the ball. I do believe they're going to start throwing a little bit further down the field, and that's going to help Michael Thomas get some. But I have it number 7, okay? Number 8, I've got Mike Evans. This is the start of the Tampa Bay weapons, all right? Mike Evans is a beast. He was a beast with Jameis Winston. He's a beast with Tom Brady. It took a little bit of time for Mike Evans to kind of develop that relationship with Tom Brady. Say no more, all right? They've got now a full off season coming up for them. They won a Super Bowl. That hype is real. That Tampa Bay wide receiver crew is nasty. Probably one of the best in the league right now, and Mike Evans is the top guy, so I have him there. Next, I've got Amari Cooper. Start of another great trio as far as wide receivers go. Dallas Cowboys, look, Amari Cooper last year, look, he wasn't the best. He finished 15th last year. Reason why I have him higher is the fact that, look, Dak is back, all right? Number one target for Dak. Dak is back. Amari Cooper is absolutely going to go from 15 and up, right? So I have him going up into the higher rankings. Here's my thing with the Bucks and Cowboys wide receivers. You can't go wrong with Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, or Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, all right? They're both, all four of them can be top tier wide receivers. But I have them in these certain ranks just based off of, again, who they're going to be matching up against, their skill sets, red zone activity. So I like, again, Mike Evans and Amari Cooper a little bit higher than I would, obviously, CeeDee Lamb and Chris Godwin. And we'll talk about them a little bit. Next I have is A.J. Brown. I did not put Julio Jones. Okay, I put A.J. Brown as the guy. Part of it is the fact that A.J. Brown's already been in this system. Tannehill's got a relationship with him, and this is going to open up. Julio's going to get the number one corner. And it may not. Who knows, right? So you either cover Julio or you cover A.J. Brown. A lot of people know where Julio stands as far as his status in the league. He's one of the best receivers out there. His only problem is staying on the field. But I like A.J. Brown a little bit more because he's probably going to have lesser challenges as far as one-on-ones go, less double teams than I think Julio Jones does, and the fact that he's got the offense and rapport with Tannehill. So I like A.J. Brown a lot in this spot. Allen Robinson I have next. Allen Robinson finished 9th last year. Only downside I have with Allen Robinson is that there's a possible new quarterback change. Again, right? You got Justin Fields possibly going in, most likely not, but possibly going in, which I hope does happen, and I think it will help Allen Robinson, but it's my only downside with Allen Robinson, okay? He's not a touchdown machine, but he is a very consistent receiver. Last year, he had 151 targets, which is amazing. It actually was like one of the top in the league, period. So I like him a lot. Allen Robinson is definitely underrated, does not get enough credit in this league. I think people just don't take enough credit and send it his way. He is an awesome receiver, and I think the Bears are lucky to have him. Next I have is DK Metcalf. Look, DK Metcalf was number 7th last year. I don't have him as high. Part of the fact is I think last year touchdowns helped him. He had some really strong games, but he had some poor games. His consistency, just like Tyler Lockett, is not always there. I think he is the better receiver than Tyler Lockett, absolutely. And I think he's got the skill set and the ability to be a top-tier receiver for sure in this league, but I don't quite have him really up there, okay? Next, I've got Keenan Allen, Mr. Reliable. Well, when he is on the field, unfortunately last year he did deal with some injuries, but him and Justin Herbert hit it off right. I mean, they were just on point. And Keenan Allen is probably one of the most consistent receivers in the league. Last year, he did underperform. There wasn't a lot of deep balls. He was injured. But even in the games that he did play, he still had 147 targets. 147 targets. The man's a beast, and he's a touchdown machine. He had 8 last year, and had he played a full season, he would have been one of the top-tier wide receivers in fantasy. I love Keenan Allen. I like him a lot. Again, he finished 13th last year, but he's another good one. After Keenan Allen, I've got Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin is amazing. Chris Godwin last year, look, he definitely gets overshadowed with Mike Evans. And the fact that you now have another year of Antonio Brown does affect Chris Godwin a little bit. But I still like Chris Godwin a lot. I think he's still got a great skill set. He did have some inconsistencies, but like both, Evans and Godwin, they were a little bit, I would say, struggled. They struggled a little bit at the beginning of the season, and I understand that. A lot had to do with the fact that, look, you got a new quarterback, new offense is going on, no offseason. There was a lot of big changes, but I like Chris Godwin. Next, I have Julio Jones. The reason I have Julio Jones is not only is I think he's got a lot to prove. He's going to go out there and show everybody he's still one of the best receivers in the league, even with his age and some of his injury history. But the fact is you got an A.J. Brown on the outside. So defenses really have to decide who they can put their number one corner or double, if it's a zone system, zone scheme, on which receiver. Do you pick A.J. or do you pick the veteran and Julio Jones? Julio Jones will struggle at the beginning of the season. I would say probably week 5 to 6, you'll start really seeing him boost up. But that first month will be a struggle. Your fact is he's new with Tannehill, doesn't know the offense as quickly as possible, right? He's going to struggle some games. But I do believe he's going to be one that's going to help you win if you're in the playoffs, all right? Then I got Robert Woods. Robert Woods doesn't get a lot of credit being in LA. Fortunately, that whole system was just a system, right? So now it's going to be a lot to prove. You've got Matt Stafford showing up in LA, and I love that. I love that. Matt Stafford's going to do amazing things, and Robert Woods is going to be a recipient of that. Robert Woods finished 14th last year, okay? 14th in fantasy points as far as wide receivers go in the PPR edition, and I think he's still going to be a very, very, very solid receiver. Actually, and Cooper Kupp, and like I said, I'll talk about him as well. But I like Robert Woods right here. Terry McLaurin, look, I think if they get some consistency at the wide receiver spot, Terry McLaurin's going to be even better. And this is Terry McLaurin without a great quarterback and how good he is. Again, gets a lot of targets, makes great plays. The one thing that didn't really help him last year is you just didn't see a lot of touchdown action. And that's part of that whole offense in general. That offense didn't score a lot of points. They didn't really, convert red zones very well. That's the only thing that hurt Terry McLaurin a lot. Next I've got is CeeDee Lamb. He's only going to get better. He was 22nd last year with multiple different quarterbacks. His first year in the offense. I'm just saying, even as a Cowboys fan, and I hate to be all giddy about it, but that wide receiver core, we didn't need CeeDee Lamb, but I'm glad we got him. He is a beast, and he's only going to get better. Him and Amari Cooper and Gallup, just some great trio wide receivers, and I'm afraid for everybody that's to play against us because Dak is definitely going to be that revenge. But I like CeeDee Lamb a lot. I think he's a solid receiver. Again, wouldn't be mad if that was your number one receiver. All right. Next, I've got T. Higgins. T. Higgins was awesome last year. Hey, the fact that you're going to get your quarterback back, you added a third weapon in Jamar Chase, it only opens up everybody, right? It only helps. Having as many weapons, and you see that in Tampa and you see that in Dallas, having 3 solid, amazing receivers are only going to help each other out. It's not going to actually downplay. I think it ends up turning into more of a passing team, right, with the fact that you've got that many weapons. But I like T. Higgins a lot more than obviously I do Tyler Boyd or I do Jamar Chase. I like T. Higgins. He's got way more upside, and I think he's got the ability to be absolutely the number one receiver for the Bengals. Then I've got Will Fuller for Miami. Weird to say that, but Will Fuller was on pace to do amazing things last year before his substance abuse issue. And unfortunately, I had Will Fuller last year before he went into that substance abuse, and he was amazing. I traded for him, and I'm so glad I did because he was on pace to do some great stuff. He had 8 touchdowns, and that was not playing full season. He's a big play receiver, and I'm a little nervous with having Tua back there, but I'm also excited because he has Tua back there, right? He's not going to have Deshaun Watson, who's definitely a better quarterback, but Will Fuller will have some great opportunities, and I like Will Fuller a lot. He's got the big play. That's just why I like him. I've got Cooper Kupp behind him. Cooper Kupp, again, a great receiver. He was 26th last year. The reason I have him moved up is the fact that you've got, I think, the lack of touchdowns hurt him. He had a lot of receptions last year, a lot of targets. You still have got Robert Woods on the outside, but now you've got Matthew Stafford as your quarterback. That's only a win. Sorry, Jared Goff, but Matthew Stafford's a better quarterback. I like that, and Sean McVay is going to be so excited to have this core of wide receiver quarterback combo. So I like Cooper Kupp a lot. I've got Deontay Johnson. Again, I think he's the better of the Steelers receivers. I think he's better than Juju. I think he's better than Chase Claypool. Not much better than Chase Claypool. I think Claypool is more of the red zone guy, but Deontay is really the number one guy. So I like him a lot. He finished 21st last year. I have him, a little bit lower only because some other receivers are just going to get better, but I do like him a lot. Next, I've got Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson was 18th last year, but again, like many things, there were some changes on the offense. And the fact that, again, other receivers are only getting better, or their quarterbacks are back, or something like that. So I have Robbie Anderson falling down some, but I still have him in the top 25. He had an amazing season last year in his first year. He wasn't the big play like he was, I felt like, in New York. I thought he did better job of getting down the field and being open. I think he was more intermediate. But I will say, and this is where I think this is where the evolution of this ranking could change, Robbie Anderson could definitely move up with the fact that you've got Christian McCaffrey back. Okay, a lot of this was without McCaffrey, even though Mike Davis did a great job last year. McCaffrey's McCaffrey, right? So again, might make some changes right before the season drops. So next, I've got DJ Chark. Look, DJ Chark is a good receiver. He didn't make top 25 last year in fantasy points. Actually, the one thing I feel like he doesn't get a lot of credit is he is a big play receiver. His consistency is the only thing that scares me. But the reason why I have him there is I think he's got some good weapons around him now with, obviously, Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. Got 2 great running backs, and then you add Marvin Jones Jr., who last year was 18th in fantasy. This is only going to help DJ Chark, and I don't have Marvin Jones over DJ Chark. I think DJ Chark is going to be the better option for Jacksonville, but I like him in the top 25. Then for the 25th, and I know this is probably where I get a lot of people hating me, is I have Odell Beckham Jr. Yes, part of it is based off the fact that he's still so talented, but there's some hesitation with obviously the injury, and I think a lot of people feel that with him and Baker Mayfield, it just doesn't work well. Like Baker was better without him, and that's crazy to me. Baker was getting better whether Odell was there or not, and I think it's going to help them even better and more this year. I think Odell, again, people just give him this idea that he's just a selfish receiver. He doesn't care about the team. Odell is all about the team. And for me, I think going forward, I just see really good things, and I think a lot of people are sitting on him. So yes, I have him in the top 25. Yes, I might be a little crazy, but I like him a lot there, and I think he might be a good sleeper pick that you might steal around and maybe, have him as a second or third receiver that people were like, oh, Odell Beckham, who cares? Watch him show up this year, okay? So I want to thank you guys for watching the top 25 early edition PPR ranking for the receivers. Again, I'll have another video coming out right before the season really starts to kick off. Preseason time, I'll have some kind of get an idea of what mini camps are like, and obviously any injuries that could possibly, hopefully not happen. But I want to make sure that you guys get an even better, accurate, more ranking when we get closer to the season. But I wanted to kind of get you guys get those wheels going and get you guys starting to do some mock drafts. I will be dropping a mock draft video soon as well. I want to make sure you guys are able to see kind of what's happening in live, what people are starting to do, so you can react at the same time. And I may do that one. I may do a mock draft for every position up to, I usually do 10-man leagues, but if you guys like 12-man leagues, I'll do a 12-man league. I'll do one for each position and kind of tell you what you should and shouldn't be looking for in those type of things. So that way you guys can get in a good spot for the season upcoming. Again, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure you hit the like button. Also, again, if you have not, hit that subscribe button and the notification so you get all of our latest videos when we put them out there. And then again, follow us on social, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and I'll make sure that you guys get all the updated information at any point in time, or ask any questions you got for us. We're there for you to help you, again, be prepared for this upcoming season. So I want to thank you guys again, and I'll check you out next time.